now ask for supplementary question from Honorable J.S. Malema, who's on virtual platform.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Mr. President, following Trump's tariffs on the country, our approach has been that of appeasement and almost tantamount to begging. You created an impression of us crawling on the floor and begging and cementing our place as a very junior partner to the US. You have juniorized this country and it has lost its status globally. We do this while countries such as China, Canada, and the EU announced retaliatory tariffs against the US. I know that we import finished products from US while we largely export our raw materials such as platinum, gold, and raw aluminium, all of which are central to the US economy. Instead of appeasing the maniac, why have we not stood firm and imposed own retaliatory tariffs against Trump while looking to open up trade with our BRICS partners and the rest of the countries of the global south? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable President.
Thank you. Should I go on? Thank you.
Yes, President, you can go on.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, there are various options that countries can elect to respond to the unfair tariffs that have been leveled against, I would say, the world. A number of countries have sought to engage in negotiations with the US government, and some of those have been fairly large economies that are currently in negotiations with the United States. And we have chosen the route of engaging the United States. They said that they have a deficit, but we argue that they don't have a deficit, and that requires that we should actually sit down and negotiate these issues. And in sitting down, we've come to the conclusion that we will find good answers to be able to take matters forward. And let me say, our response has also been informed by engagement with our own private sector. Our own private sector as exporters, as well as importers, have been very much involved in crafting the response that we have offered to the United States, including the trade union movement. And it's all very well to say what we should have done is to retaliate, and in retaliation, you've got to be absolutely clear whether you will be able to achieve precisely what you need to achieve. We believe that we are on the right course, a course that should end up with a mutually beneficial outcome. The United States is our second largest trading partner, accounting for hundreds of thousands of workers who are employed here. The 600 US companies that are doing business in South Africa employ many people, and it is the interests of these many people that we as a government have to take care of before we engage in a war that may not yield the results that we want. So if one wants to play to the gallery, one could embark on the type of option that Honorable Malema is talking about without knowing what outcome that option will have. Our option is informed by what we want to gain. And what we want to gain is to continue exporting to the United States as much as possible and to enable companies also to invest in the United States, but to also get United States companies to invest in us. And we do have leverage. And our leverage has to do with, yes, the natural resources that we have, the minerals that we have, which the United States needs. The discussions that we are having now with the United States also revolve around that. The critical minerals that South Africa has and the capacity that we have to process those minerals with the energy backing that we have, which many other countries don't have, is something that we take to the table and use as leverage. So I'd like to say that it is a strategy that we have opted for, and a strategy of engagement, and a strategy which we believe will yield results, notwithstanding the fact that we are obviously dealing with a United States administration that at times is unpredictable and that at times just retaliates. And without being supplicants, without going on bended knee, which we have never done and which we will never do. And we have said we will not be bullied. We will stand as a sovereign country and negotiate and get the best deal for South Africa. That's precisely what we're doing.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Eso Armahumapilo.
Thank you very much, President, and we appreciate the extent to which strategic engagements are taking place with the US on these tariffs. Now, the US on its own, President, realizing that its trumpeting trumpets of the tariffs are inflicting pain on them, they volunteered exclusion of some of the critical minerals from the initial list, which is an advantage for South Africa. So I want to check how, as South Africa, we can continue to deepen their own realization on the strategic tactical advantage that we have. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, the issue, as I said earlier, of the strength and the endowments that we have, which is critical minerals, is a matter that is firmly on the table as we are having these engagements now with the United States. And we have been, yes, exporting these to them on a tariff-free basis, whilst they had offered us a tariff-free entry through the AGOA offering or process. So therefore, in order to gain the advantage that we need for our own country, we are utilizing precisely this aspect of what they need most. In the end, we are saying we need to balance the books. What do they need most from us is what we put on the table for them to consider. And what do we need most from them? And in balancing these two issues, we then believe that we will be able to come up with a fairly well-balanced negotiation that goes beyond just what they are focusing on, imposition of a 30% tariff regime on us. We go to the United States negotiating table with a strong hand. We don't go with a weak hand. And our endowments, as you correctly say, is exactly what we take to the table. And the ability on our part to have those products processed here. But we obviously, in doing so, want to take it a step further. And we want to be able, and that's what we are insisting on, that even as we may well want to export critical minerals, we want them to leave the shores of South Africa as finished products so that we beneficiate what we will finally sell to them. So that is the type of discussion that we are having with them, a proper engagement of two sovereign powers that are engaging for a fair deal outcome. And that is how we are proceeding with this. Now, Our people who are in the United States now are fully fired up with this type of approach, and the Minister of Trade and Industry and International Relations will be joining them, and they will be advancing those discussions. We are on the ground, and we are working the ground in the United States as we speak now. Thank you, Honorable.